I just have one quick question for you. Do you even prime elevation, bruh? Yes? Hello and welcome everyone on the interwebs to my channel. My name is Elon Osborne and I like to talk about movies, audio, and music. And today we're going to get to know your prime elevation speaker from SVS. I wanted to make this video because while SVS does a great job at giving a detailed overview of the prime elevation speaker on their website, there is even more that this versatile little speaker can do. So I couldn't wait to share this knowledge with you. You can literally download the user's manual on their website, so it's not like it's a trade secret. But let's be honest, how many of you are just chomping at the bit to download the manual of any given speaker?
Me. Definitely me.
So that's where I come in.
Yippee.
Taking you through the highlights of the manual that I think everyone should know. So, you're welcome.
Thanks.
First off, if you choose to have the grill on your prime elevation speaker, since it can be mounted and oriented in so many different ways, the little SVS logo itself can be turned to whichever orientation you need. Moving on, these speakers can be mounted as down firing, up firing, or side firing. Wait, up firing? Why would I want to mount them below me? We'll get into that later, don't you worry your pretty little head. In order to mount these speakers, the great thing about the prime elevation is that they come with their own proprietary mounting system. They are unique in the fact that they have a rear bass port for some excellent bass management and extension, even from a relatively small cabinet. So they need a slight gap between the wall and that bass port for air to flow. These aren't meant to sit flush against the flat surface like some other elevation or Atmos enabled speakers out there. So the fact that you don't have to spend extra money on a mounting system is a huge plus. Placement options. When thinking of Dolby Atmos, for example, the first placement you might think of is right on the ceiling, which you can do, of course. These can definitely be mounted right above you, whether you have 2, 4, or even 6 height channels. But say you have only 2 elevation speakers, you can mount them on the ceiling in front of you, on the ceiling to the sides, on the wall above the TV, or even on the wall to the sides. So many options, I tell you. And that's true for having 4 elevation speakers as well. 4 on the ceiling, front and back, 4 on the ceiling to the sides, 4 on the walls front and back, 4 on the walls to the sides.
Note.
One thing to consider with 4 elevation speakers though, is versatility among surround sound formats. You may have seen my video about an RO3D upmixing and how it can sometimes differ from a native Atmos mix. So if you happen to have a receiver that can decode Atmos, DTS, and RO3D, a more versatile layout to consider is having your elevation speakers up on the wall as close to the ceiling as possible. So that covers the main use of elevation speakers, to elevate them. Get it? But prime elevation speakers go beyond just putting them up high. As you can see from this graphic, they can be used even for a front soundstage, since they aren't as limited in their frequency response as some other Atmos speakers, reaching down to an impressive 55 Hz and going all the way up to 25 kHz. Remember how I mentioned up firing before? Well, that's when you're in a situation where they're on a low profile entertainment center and need to fire audio slightly up to reach your ears when sitting on a couch. But they can also be mounted above a large projector screen or TV as your front soundstage. SVS recommends this setup if you happen to have more than 1 row of seats in your home theater space so that the audio can reach the back row with impact as well. Remember when I mentioned side firing? Prime elevation speakers can also be used as surrounds or rear surrounds in a traditional 5.1 or 7.1 configuration. But as it's pointed out in this graphic here, if you have no height channels, it's recommended to put the tweeters about 2 feet above your ear level. But if you do also have height channels in your home theater space, mount these side firing speakers closer to ear level so they don't interfere with the height effects. Now this next page is where things get crazy, but in a good way. You ever heard of bipole or dipole speakers? In a nutshell, they're speakers that typically have 2 pairs of tweeters and drivers, but only take up 1 channel of real estate on your AV receiver. And they're typically designed in a way to where they give you 2 separate options for surround effects. Bipole is when both sets of drivers are in phase, pushing air out simultaneously. Bipole is more localized or directional. So wherever the speaker is, it will sound like it's coming from there. Dipole, on the other hand, is when the two sets of drivers are out of phase. While one driver is pushing out, the other driver is pulling in, which causes a non-directional effect, creating a null or dead spot right where the speaker is, so when it comes to the source of audio, you're thinking, "Where are you?" Here. What does this have to do with prime elevations? Well, technically you can take two of them, mount and wire them in such a way where they create a bipole or dipole speaker. To achieve a bipole speaker, take the positive terminal of one and a negative terminal of the other and run those to the corresponding channel on the AV receiver. Then join the unused speaker terminals with a jumper cable. Now, obviously this jumper needs to be longer, but this is just for demonstration. Now to achieve a dipole speaker, go from both positive terminals on each speaker to the positive and negative terminals on the AV receiver. Seems weird, I know, but it works. Then join the negative terminals on the speakers with a jumper cable. Using a bipole or dipole configuration with your surround or rear surround channels might give you a more desired effect over your traditional lone speaker, something you might want to experiment with. Then the manual goes over some mounting steps, which I'll go over in a separate quick tip tutorial. I just wanted to explore the many ways this versatile prime elevation speaker can be utilized, since it might be a little overwhelming to read all those things on their website. Just a reminder that I am not being paid by SVS to say this at all. I just felt it was my duty.
Duty?
It's not that kind of duty.
I just felt it was my duty to inform you all just what this little speaker can do beyond being an incredible height channel speaker. So with this holding its own as a front soundstage speaker, surround, rear surround, bipole or dipole or height speaker, and SVS having some of the best customer service in the home audio industry, my question is, what are you waiting for?
And there you have it.
Thank you for joining me on this quick tip. Did you already know this little speaker could do so much? Would you maybe consider having a massive 7.1.4 system comprised solely of prime elevations and a PB1000 Pro, for example? That's entirely possible. Do you even use prime elevations for anything other than height channels? Let me know in the comments below. As always, please be kind to each other out there. Don't just watch TV and movies, experience them. And of course, always be listening.